Discover how one student's late arrival to class revealed an incredible life-changing connection. Jamie Rodriguez zoomed through the crowded hallways of Lincoln High, her heart racing like a freight train. She was late again. The familiar knot of anxiety twisted in her stomach as she thought of Mr. Thompson, her history teacher. His disappointment weighed on her like a heavy backpack filled with the burdens of family and school. Juggling her studies and caring for her single mother and younger siblings, every day felt like running an endless marathon. With flushed cheeks and a breathless urgency, she burst into the classroom, just minutes before the bell rang. The air was thick with anticipation, the desks filled with students ready to hear from a man revered in their small town, the friendly owner of the local cafe, Mr. Thompson. Today, he wasn't just the cafe owner. He was a beacon of resilience. His weathered smile was warm and reassuring, a contrast to her frantic state. "So glad you could join us, Jamie," he said with a twinkle in his eye. The class settled as Mr. Thompson began to share his story of overcoming poverty and chasing dreams. Jamie listened, each word striking a chord in her heart. She could see the glimmer of hope in his eyes, a flame that mirrored her own struggles. They were both survivors in their own right. As they exchanged tales of sacrifice and determination, Jamie felt her worries ebb away, if only momentarily. She found herself captivated not just by his journey but by the connection they forged in that moment, bonded by the love for family and the desire for a better future. But reality struck hard when the announcement came over the loudspeaker. The school's budget cuts threatened to eliminate the summer program Jamie desperately relied on to catch up on her studies. Panic washed over her like a wave, her heart sinking. What would happen to her family if there was no funding for this program? The weight of hopelessness threatened to crush her spirit. "Don't lose heart, Jamie," Mr. Thompson encouraged gently, sensing her distress. "You have a voice. Use it." With his support, she felt a flicker of determination ignite within her. If they could rally the community together, perhaps they could turn the tide. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Initiated by her heartfelt plea, Jamie began organizing bake sales, town meetings, and plans to raise awareness within their community. They confronted the inequalities plaguing their suburban town, uniting both allies and skeptics. The tension thickened as they faced backlash from those who deemed their efforts pointless. Doubts crept in, gnawing at her resolve. Would anyone care? As Jamie stood before the audience at their last fundraising event, nerves twisted her stomach. But as she looked out at the faces, Mr. Thompson's encouraging nod, the supportive smiles of her classmates, she found her voice. This isn't just about summer programs. It's about dignity, the hope for a better tomorrow. What would this moment mean for Jamie and her community? With every ounce of courage ignited within her, she took a breath, preparing to face an uncertain future where the hopes and dreams of many weighed squarely in her hands. The echo of Jamie's voice faded into the applause of her classmates, the sound weaving through her like a protective blanket. She felt a mix of fear and exhilaration. Was it possible that her words had actually meant something? As the clapping subsided, whispers filled the air, brimming with energy and hope. "Yeah, Jamie. You totally nailed it," shouted Sam, her friend since middle school. His smile radiated encouragement, and Jamie couldn't help but feel a rush of warmth in her chest. But amid the cheers, the gnawing worry about the outcome lingered. Would the funds raised be enough? Would anyone outside this room truly care about their plight? Her heart fluttered with uncertainty as she stepped off the makeshift stage, but she quickly pushed those thoughts aside. For now, she had to focus on the next steps to Mr. Thompson approached her with pride glimmering in his eyes. "You did wonderfully, Jamie. Your passion is inspiring," he said. His words wrapped around her like a reassuring hug, grounding her in the moment. "Thanks, but do you really think we can pull this off?" Jamie asked, the vulnerability creeping back in. She had spoken from the heart, but how far could that take them? "Absolutely. You've got the community on your side now. We just need to keep the momentum going," he replied, his demeanor unwavering. As they discussed plans to expand their fundraising efforts, Jamie didn't notice the tapestry of the room quieting down. Eyes shifted towards the door, and when she turned, she saw an unexpected face. Mr. Dawson, the school principal, framed in the doorway. That he cleared his throat, the gravity of his presence commanding attention. "Folks, can I get everyone's attention for a moment?" His serious tone caused a ripple of silence across the room. Jamie's heart raced again. What did this mean? Had they done the impossible? Mr. Dawson's expression softened, juxtaposed against the gravity of his office. "I've heard the stirring speeches and seen your passion. It fills me with hope for what you're trying to achieve. As of today, I'm here to announce that the school board is willing to discuss alternative funding sources." A wave of gasps encased the room. Jamie hardly dared to breathe. Could it be true? He continued, "However, this means we need a solid proposal from you all on how to utilize the funds, should we secure them. Are you willing to work together to make this happen?" Thrumming energy surged through Jamie. A spark of determination ignited anew. "Yes. We can do it." She found herself shouting, the words bursting forth like a dam breaking. Laughter and cheers erupted, a chorus of agreement celebrating the moment. Suddenly, Jamie was aware of Mr. Thompson, his expression one of encouragement but also caution. She caught his eye, and in that fleeting glance, she understood the challenge ahead. This wasn't just charity. It was a call to action that demanded time, effort, and the undeniable strength of their community. But could they sustain this fire? Could they pull together to create change in such a short time amid other challenges they all faced? Her heart raced as thoughts of planning consumed her. What if they failed? Would all their efforts be for nothing? As the meeting wrapped up, Jamie felt an overwhelming mix of hope and worry. She was ready to try, to push the boundaries of what seemed possible. With a mirrored determination from her friends and Mr. Thompson, she was surrounded by a newfound belief that change was within reach. But the pivotal moment was yet to arrive. As Jamie gathered her thoughts and stepped outside into the late afternoon sun, she asked herself a pressing question: what would happen when doubts began to resurface, and the community's support was put to the test? With determination and an uncertain future ahead, she braced herself for the journey, ready to face whatever lay in wait. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting a golden hue across the school parking lot, Jamie felt a buzz of anticipation. The call to action had ignited a spark in her heart, but alongside it simmered a simmering anxiety. She gathered her friends by the flagpole, vowing to brainstorm ideas that would shape their proposal. "All right," she said, her mind racing with possibilities. "We need to have a clear vision of what we're asking for when we talk to the board. Let us think about what would really help our program thrive." Sam nodded eagerly, leaning against the cool metal of the flagpole. "Maybe we could ask for funds to improve the facilities. A new art studio or better musical instruments." "I love that," Jamie replied, the energy of the group igniting her thoughts. "But we should also consider scholarships. We need to make sure every student has a chance to participate, regardless of their financial background." Each new idea sparked more enthusiasm. Laughter bubbled over, voices rose, and the feeling of unity enveloped them like a warm blanket. Yet, just beneath the excitement, the worries loomed. Jamie glanced around at her friends, their faces lit with hope, but something gnawed at her heart. What if they poured everything they had into this and it didn't lead to anything? As if sensing her hesitation, Sam placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Hey, Jamie, we've got this. If we work together, there's no way we can fail." The warmth of his belief washed over her, a gentle reminder of the support that surrounded her. But just as Jamie was about to respond, the sound of footsteps broke through their moment of connection. A new figure approached, a student she recognized but didn't know well. It was Mia, a quiet girl who often blended into the background. "Hey, do you mind if I join?" Mia asked, her voice tentative but filled with a sliver of hope. "Of course." Jamie smiled, welcoming her into the circle. "We're brainstorming ideas for the proposal to the school board." Mia's eyes sparked with interest. "I have an idea too. What if we set up workshops or mentorship programs? We could connect with alumni who've gone on to do amazing things." Jamie's heart raced. That's brilliant. It could inspire students and help them see the possibilities that lie ahead. The group's energy surged again, now fueled not just by enthusiasm but by a deeper resolve, a sense that they were on the verge of forging something that could truly change lives. They began to share stories of their passions and dreams, the barriers they faced and the shared moments of laughter that brought them closer, but as the sun slid behind the horizon, casting an orange glow that hinted at the night to come, Jamie felt the weight of her initial worries creep back in. Would their collective fire be enough? Could they balance school, work, and community commitments while rallying support? She took a deep breath, gathering her courage. "Let us meet again tomorrow after school," she proposed. "We can start crafting our proposal and set deadlines. This is only the beginning." Each nod in agreement felt like a heartbeat, a pulse that resonated with purpose. As they dispersed, Jamie felt invigorated, but the knot of uncertainty tightened in her stomach. As she turned to walk home, her mind raced ahead. Would their efforts lead to the transformation they envisioned? Or would they crumble under the weight of expectation? The thought lingered in her mind, unanswered, prickling with tension. What was the next step that could either rally them together or send them spiraling in doubt? Jamie barely slept that night. Her mind was a whirlwind of thoughts and ideas, spinning through the conversations they had and the dreams they now shared. Every time she closed her eyes, she envisioned her friends tackling the school board, standing strong together. But doubt wormed its way in, and she tossed and turned until the first light of dawn crept through her window. The next day at school, her heart raced as she entered the classroom. She saw Sam and Mia already sitting together, surrounded by their notes and sketches, their excitement palpable. Jamie drew in a breath, steeling herself for the had-to-be-done task ahead. "Morning, everyone," she greeted, trying to match their energy. "Are we ready to make magic happen?" "Absolutely." Sam beamed, bouncing a pencil against the desk. "I've got tons of ideas we can structure into our proposal." Mia looked up, her eyes shining with determination. "I made a list of potential alumni who could help with the mentorship programs. Some are thriving in their careers, their stories could be powerful." As they dived into discussions, the classroom became a sanctuary of creativity. Their laughter filled the air as they crafted the sections of the proposal, bouncing ideas back and forth. Jamie felt the knots in her stomach slowly unraveling, replaced by something she hadn't felt in a while: hope. But then the door creaked open. An unexpected figure stepped in, a new student. Jamie barely recognized his face, but there was something about him that caught her eye. He was a tall kid, with untamed hair and a slightly nervous grin. "Sorry I'm late," he said, glancing around the room. "I'm Ethan. I just transferred here, and I was looking for a place to fit in." Her heart pounded again, but not from anxiety this time. Jamie could sense a longing in his voice. This was someone who wanted to connect, just like they did. "Well, you found a good place," Jamie said, trying to extend warmth to him. "We're actually working on something that could really change our school's arts program. Want to join us?" Ethan's eyes lit up with surprise. "Really? That sounds amazing. I used to be part of something similar at my last school. I'd love to help." At that moment, Jamie felt the power of their cause grow even larger. In a world where they all faced challenges, school pressure, personal doubts, here was another potential spark, another voice to lift them up. They welcomed Ethan into their circle and began to share what they had planned so far. Jamie could feel the pieces falling into place. This proposal was not just theirs anymore, it was theirs with Ethan, filled with hopes, dreams, and stories waiting to be told, but just as they began to outline their next steps, the classroom door swung open again. A stern face appeared, a teacher with furrowed brows. "I hate to interrupt, but I need to see you all right now. The principal wants to discuss changes to the arts program, and he requested your attendance," she announced. That a hush fell over the group. This was their moment, but the tension coiled in Jamie's heart. Would they be able to impress the principal with their ideas? Or would their excitement fall flat, overshadowed by the aura of authority looming over them? As they gathered their notes and followed the teacher, Jamie wondered what awaited them in that office. Would their dreams take flight or crash against the weight of reality? What had they started, and where would this journey truly lead them? As they walked down the echoing hallways, Jamie felt an electric mix of nerves and anticipation. Her mind raced through their proposal, each point a flicker of hope amid her anxiety. The walls around her seemed to close in, amplifying every heartbeat, every whisper shared among her friends. Sam and Mia flanked her, their expressions a blend of determination and apprehension. Ethan trailed slightly behind, shifting his weight from one foot to the other as if he could feel the weight of the moment press down on him too. Jamie glanced back at him and offered a reassuring smile. He smiled back, though his uncertainty flickered in his eyes. This was new territory for all of them. The principal's office loomed at the end of the hall, its door slightly ajar. Jamie could see him inside, seated at his desk, reviewing paperwork. He was a stern-looking man, gray hair combed back with precision, giving off an air of authority that made Jamie's stomach twist. "Okay, everyone," their teacher said as they reached the door, suddenly serious. "Remember, this is your chance to make your voices heard. Speak from the heart. The principal cares about the program, but he needs to see your passion." With a deep breath, Jamie nodded. She felt Mia's hand squeeze her shoulder, a grounding gesture that steadied her nerves. Sam looked at Ethan as though to say, "We're all in this together," and Jamie felt the invisible thread of connection binding them all. The teacher knocked lightly before pushing the door open, ushering the group inside. Sunlight streamed through the window, illuminating the room and creating a warm contrast against the principal's serious demeanor. "Good morning," he said, looking up. "I understand you're here to present some ideas about the arts program." "Why yes, sir," Jamie stammered, stepping forward, heart racing. "We've been working on a proposal that we believe could really enhance the arts program at our school. It could help students express themselves and connect with mentors who have valuable experiences to share." As she spoke, Jamie couldn't help but notice the subtle shift in the principal's posture. He sat up a bit straighter and nodded, giving her the encouragement she desperately needed. Mia took a step forward as Jamie wrapped her thoughts into a more coherent flow. She spoke about potential mentorship programs, involving alumni who had walked the path they were now traveling. Sam jumped in, presenting their creative ideas in an enthusiastic pitch, while Ethan, now more comfortable, shared his experience from his old school. Each word added a brushstroke to the picture they were painting. The principal listened intently, his expressions shifting from skepticism to intrigue. "These are impressive ideas, kids," he finally said, leaning back in his chair. "However, changing a school program isn't easy. It can take time, and there are many factors to consider." His voice trailed off, and Jamie's heart sank. Had they pushed too hard, too fast? Was it just a dream spinning in their heads? But then Ethan, emboldened by the moment, spoke up. "But sir, if we don't take chances, how will we ever grow? We want to inspire creativity and build a community that supports each other. That's what we're all about." The words hung in the air like a challenge. Jamie's breath caught in her throat as the principal regarded Ethan seriously. Moments passed, and the tension danced among them, thick enough to cut. What would this encounter yield? Would their dreams be met with obstacles yet unseen? Just then, the principal nodded slightly and leaned forward, intrigued. "All right, tell me more about how you plan to make this work." As he spoke, Jamie felt a spark igniting within her, a flicker of hope that urged her onward. What if this was just the beginning of something much bigger than any of them had anticipated? But just as they began brainstorming ideas together, Jamie couldn't shake a feeling that hung at the back of her mind that this was just the first challenge they would face. How far were they really willing to go to fight for their dreams? And at what cost? As ideas flowed between them, the atmosphere in the principal's office transformed. The once rigid lines of authority softened as the students shared their vision. Jamie could feel their collective energy, like a current sparking in the air. Mia spoke passionately about art workshops that would not only unleash creativity but also welcome students from every corner of the school. Sam laid out his plans for collaborative projects that would challenge them and invite the community to join in. Ethan found his voice too, sharing insights from his previous school's successful initiatives. With each word, he seemed to gain confidence, his earlier uncertainty melting away. Jamie watched him, pride swelling in her chest. Here were her friends, stepping out of their shells, becoming leaders right before her eyes. "Let's talk logistics," the principal finally said, his focus shifting to them with newfound seriousness. "If we're going to make this work, we need a clear plan: funding, outreach, timeline. There's a lot to consider." Jamie's heart quickened. "We can do all of that," she exclaimed, barely able to contain her excitement. "We're ready to put in the work. We can survey other students to see what they want from the program. We can handle the outreach and even set up fundraisers." Her words spilled out, a flurry of ideas connecting in her mind. The energy in the room crackled. The principal regarded her closely, his calculating look mixing with a hint of respect. "I admire your enthusiasm," he said slowly. "But enthusiasm alone won't get it done. You'll need a solid foundation under your plans to make it happen." Just then, the door swung open, revealing a flustered student running in, breathless and wide-eyed. "I'm so sorry I'm late, Mr. Thompson. I thought the meeting was next week." The principal raised an eyebrow, clearly annoyed by the interruption. But instead of chastising the latecomer, Jamie saw something shift in his expression, a flicker of nostalgia, perhaps, or empathy. "Why don't you join us?" he said, motioning for the student to take a seat. "These kids are working on a proposal for the arts program." The student, whose name Jamie barely caught, looked around the room, processing the unexpected scene. In that instant, Jamie realized they had an opportunity. This wasn't just about fighting for their dreams anymore, this was about inspiring a wider audience. More voices meant more power. Ethan seemed to share the thought, shooting Jamie a look of delight. "Excuse me," he said, glancing towards the principal. "Could we extend an invitation to other students? Maybe even alumni? The more perspectives we gather, the more inclusive our proposal will be." The principal nodded, a flicker of agreement revealing itself on his face. "That's not a bad idea," he mused. "A broad coalition could lend weight to your cause." Jamie's heart pounded with resurgence. Here they were, not just trying to save the arts program, but igniting a movement. This was bigger than organizational charts and funding, this was about connection and passion woven through experiences and shared dreams, but the tremors of doubt still echoed at the back of her mind. What if they stumbled? What if the principal didn't give them the green light? And even if they succeeded, how would they balance their growing ambitions with everything else in their lives? Just as Jamie's thoughts spiraled, she caught the grin spreading across Mia's face, infectious and bright. "Let's make our first step a big one, then," Mia said. "We should announce this to the rest of the school. Let's see who stands with us." Jamie felt a rush of exhilaration. Yes. Let's do it. But as they began drafting an email to the student body, a nagging feeling stirred deep within her. Could they truly harness this momentum? Would they find others willing to join their cause? And where would this journey take them next? Jamie's heart raced with anticipation, but fear remained a whisper. What if they stirred the pot only to find it boiling over? Moments later, the group was sprawled across the principal's conference table, their ideas flooding the space. Jamie felt her pulse race with excitement. They were on the brink of something important, a network of creativity and community that could transform their school. It was electrifying, but an undercurrent of anxiety still tugged at her. Mia took charge, her eyes sparkling. We need a catchy name for our initiative, something that reflects our mission. The room buzzed with suggestions. After several lively debates, they settled on Art for All. Art for All, Ethan mused, testing the sound. I like it. It's inviting. It says we want everyone to join in. The others nodded in agreement, and Jamie found herself grinning. They then split tasks among themselves. Mia volunteered to design a captivating flyer that could be posted around the school, while Sam was eager to start meeting with potential allies among the teachers and local artists. Ethan, invigorated by the momentum, offered to draft the survey Jamie had suggested, focusing on what students wanted from the program. I'll handle the outreach to alumni, Jamie declared, a surge of confidence bolstering her resolve. We need their voices too. They have stories to inspire current students. As plans solidified, Jamie's nervousness transformed into determination. They scheduled a student assembly for the following week to announce their vision, inviting everyone to share their ideas and dreams. After the meeting, as the teens dispersed, Jamie felt a sense of camaraderie that she hadn't experienced before. The hallways bustled around them, but within their small group, it was as if they had carved out a little world dedicated to hope. Look! Mia exclaimed suddenly, waving at a group of students further down the hall. That's the drama club. We should definitely reach out to them. They could bring so much to our initiative. Ethan, catching on to Mia's enthusiasm, shouted, Hey! Drama club! Want to join the Art for All movement? Their shout echoed, laughter spilling from their group. To their surprise, the drama club turned, intrigued, and began to walk toward them. This is perfect. Jamie thought, her heart soaring. They'd barely begun, and already, others were catching fire. But as the drama club approached, her excitement was laced with fear. Would they be met with skepticism? Would they see this as just another school project? Hey, what's this all about? A tall girl from the drama club asked, crossing her arms with a teasing smirk. Sam stepped forward, confidence radiating as he shared their mission. We're going to make art accessible to everyone. Workshops, events, the whole package. We'd love your help. The girl's expression softened as she listened, and Jamie saw the flicker of interest in her eyes. That actually sounds really cool. Count us in. Music to Jamie's ears. As they exchanged contact information, Jamie felt a weight lift. It wasn't just about saving a program anymore, it was about creating a vibrant tapestry of voices that could change their school's narrative. Back home later that night, Jamie lay on her bed staring at the ceiling, the reality of their plans buzzing in her mind. The thrill of possibility painted swirling colors across her imagination. But beneath the excitement, the silent doubts loomed like shadows. What if their dreams were too big? What if they dropped the ball? She wrestled with the gnawing unease until sleep finally claimed her. The next morning, an email notification jolted her awake. It was a reply from an alumnus whose name was well known among the community, someone who had gone on to make a name in the arts. Jamie's stomach flipped with a mix of dread and hope. What had they unleashed? She clicked it open, her heart racing, still uncertain of what lay on the path before them. But one thing was clear, they were no longer just students trying to save a program, they were a movement, ready to redefine the landscape of their school, and as she read the first few lines, a bold idea began to form in her mind. What if they organized an art showcase? To premiere their initiative? Would that create the buzz they needed to build momentum? Would the community rally behind their cause? With her stomach twisting in excited anxiety, she thought, could this really be the spark that ignited something extraordinary? The following days were a whirlwind for Jamie and her friends. They spent every spare moment thinking about the Art for All showcase. Posters were hung around the school, bright colors catching the eyes of students wandering the halls. Mia's flyers were everywhere, filled with bold lettering and enticing images that promised a celebration of creativity. As the assembly day approached, the energy shifted from anxious excitement to a collective buzz of anticipation. Jamie noticed students whispering about the showcase, some even stopping to ask her questions. Relief washed over her. They were getting noticed. On the morning of the assembly, the air crackled with energy. The school auditorium filled with chatter and laughter as students filed in. Jamie, standing backstage with Mia and Ethan, felt her palms sweat. She could see the crowd swell before them, a sea of familiar faces, each representing a voice for their cause. What if they don't care? Jamie asked, biting her lip nervously. They will, Ethan reassured her, his eyes glinting with determination. Everyone loves art. Just think about what it can bring. When it was time to step onto the stage, Jamie focused on her friends. They stood together, a unit, hearts aligned with purpose. Mia gave her a nod, and Jamie took a deep breath, stepping into the spotlight. Hi everyone. We're here to talk about a new initiative called Art for All, she began, trying to mask the shaking in her voice with enthusiasm. It's a chance for all of us to connect through creativity, to explore our talents, and share our stories. The applause was tentative at first, but as Jamie spoke, it grew. She felt a shift in the room, a bite of curiosity turning into a spark of interest. Then, she pointed out their main goal, a community art showcase where every student could display their work. She shared her vision of workshops led by local artists, allowing everyone to learn and grow. The crowd listened intently, and in that moment, Jamie's fears began to dissipate. Students began nodding, whispering to one another. A soft murmur circled the room until it swelled into earnest conversation filled with excitement. As the assembly closed, Jamie thought back to the email from the alumnus, the one that had ignited this entire journey. Had she mentioned it to the audience? No. She realized she had left out an important component. After the assembly, Jamie felt a wave of emotions crash over her as students approached them, eager to get involved. They whispered ideas for features of their showcase, inspired by the energy in the room. Even the drama club members were buzzing, talking about potential performances that could tie into the event, but amid the excitement, she spotted an unfamiliar face. A boy lingered at the back of the crowd, eyes piercing with intensity. When he approached, she felt an undeniable curiosity wash over her. I heard what you said, he started, his voice steady and sincere. I'm really interested in helping out, he added, holding a sketchbook close to his chest. I've got some artwork I want to show. And I think I know that alumnus you mentioned. In an instant, Jamie's heart raced again, not with fear, but with possibility. As they exchanged names, Jamie felt a flicker of hope. This connection could lead them closer to making Art for All a reality. But what if this stranger held keys to greater opportunities than she could imagine? Her mind raced, excitement intertwining with a new layer of uncertainty. Little did she know, his story would push them towards something even more significant than she could envision. The days following the assembly were a blur of conversations, sketches, and plans. Jamie couldn't quite believe how many students were eager to jump in. The energy was contagious, and as she walked the halls, she noticed clusters of students discussing their art ideas. It felt transformational, but amidst the excitement, she couldn't shake thoughts of the boy Daniel. She learned his name was as they spoke after the assembly. He had this deep passion in his eyes. Jamie found herself looking for him, eager to hear more about the artwork he mentioned. Maybe he had exactly what they needed to elevate Art for All to another level. One morning, while setting up a meeting with Mia and Ethan, Jamie's phone buzzed. It was a message from Daniel. Hey. Can we meet? I have some ideas for the showcase. My art might fit perfectly with what you're planning. Her heart skipped. This could be it. Jamie quickly replied, arranging to meet him in the art room after school. The anticipation built through the day. She could hardly focus during classes. Her mind replayed the snippets of their earlier conversation, the urgency in his voice, and the way he had seemed to understand the mission without her needing to explain it fully. When the final bell rang, Jamie rushes to the art room. The bright colors of paint splatters on the walls felt like they were alive. She paused for a moment, taking in the atmosphere, brimming with creativity. It was one of her favorite spaces in the school. Soon enough, Daniel entered, clutching his sketchbook, his expression serious yet excited. "Thanks for meeting me," he began, flipping open his sketchbook to reveal a series of intricate drawings. Each piece depicted scenes of vibrant community life infused with art, people dancing, kids painting, and murals alive with color. "This is what I want to bring to the showcase," he said, his voice steady, as if revealing a secret treasure. Jamie felt a thrill run through her at the sight of his work. "These are amazing. They capture exactly what we're hoping to create, a space for everyone to come together." Daniel's face softened. "I thought so too. My dad was an artist, and he always said art is about connecting people. It's what we need right now." As they continued to talk, Jamie felt a deeper bond forming. They brainstormed ideas on how to display his work during the showcase, weaving in stories about the community, about home. Each suggestion he made sparked more ideas in her mind, pushing her toward a vision she hadn't fully grasped before. Yet, as the conversation faded into laughter and ideas blossomed further, there was something else lingering in the air of vulnerability. Jamie sensed that Daniel's enthusiasm came with a weight he carried, a hesitation hidden just beneath the surface. Curiosity prickled her mind. She decided to voice her concern. "What's your story? I can tell there's more to this for you." Daniel looked down at his sketches, the flicker of uncertainty crossing his features. "It's not easy for me to share, but I want this. I want to honor my dad's legacy, and I think this showcase could finally help me find my voice." The weight of his words tugged at her heart. Jamie suddenly felt this project wasn't just about art, it was about stories, healing, and understanding. But before she could reply, the door swung open, and Mia entered, buzzing with the day's updates. "You won't believe who just signed up to participate." Jamie silently exchanged a glance with Daniel, both of them feeling the shifting momentum around them. They hadn't even scratched the surface of what this showcase could become. Jamie's heart thumped with newfound excitement. There was more to uncover. What else could those around her contribute? What other connections were waiting, just outside their reach? The anticipation hung thick in the room as the three of them began to plan, knowing that the real journey was just getting started. The day of the Art for All showcase arrived with clear blue skies and a sense of electricity in the air. Jamie stepped into school, her heart dancing between excitement and nervousness. Everywhere she went, vibrant posters adorned the hallways, each flyer a rallying cry for creativity. Students were buzzing, exchanging ideas and encouragement, and the faint sounds of laughter filled every corner of Lincoln High. In the art room, preparations were in full swing. Jamie and her friends put the finishing touches on the space, arranging tables covered in colorful student artwork. The energy was infectious, and Jamie could see that their efforts had blossomed into something greater than she could have imagined. "Look at how many pieces we have!" Mia exclaimed, her eyes wide with amazement. "And they all tell a story." Jamie smiled, absorbing the fulfillment washing over her. As the clock ticked closer to the event's start time, Jamie felt a mix of pride and vulnerability. This was not just an event, it was a shared dream, a celebration of resilience, connection, and community. She glanced at Daniel, who was deep in conversation with Sam, pointing out where each piece of art would be displayed. His enthusiasm ignited a warmth in her chest, and she felt proud to have him as part of their initiative. "Are you ready?" Sam asked, nudging her lightly. "Ready as I'll ever be," Jamie replied, trying to steady her quaking nerves. "We've got this." Moments later, the doors swung open, and the showcase began. Waves of students, teachers, and parents shuffled in, curious to see what this Art for All initiative was all about. Jamie stood at the entrance, welcoming everyone with a radiant smile. When she spotted Mr. Thompson among the crowd, a smooth wave of reassurance washed over her. "You all have made this possible," he confessed, his eyes glistening with admiration. "Show them your passion." Taking a deep breath, she straightened her back, heart pounding against her ribs. "Welcome. We're so glad you're here." Jamie's voice rang out over the murmurs, sending a string of excitement rippling through the audience. Art for All isn't just about showcasing talent, it's about creating space for every voice to be heard. Today is about connection, about finding our stories through art. As the crowd gathered, Jamie's confidence soared. Each student shared their art piece, the stories intertwining until they became a tapestry of shared experiences. Daniel showcased his artwork, drawing everyone in with relatable, heartfelt narratives that flowed through each drawing. Jamie beamed with pride, knowing his creations were rooted in deep emotions, bringing them all closer. One by one, others took their turns. Mia painted vibrant images of friendship, her colors dancing across the canvas. Sam displayed photography snippets of school life, capturing endless memories. Each contribution fed the collective energy, igniting conversation and connection. As Jamie mingled, she overheard different reactions: laughter, whispers, even tears. People were sharing how the art inspired them, resonated with their own lives, opening up discussions unlike anything she had seen before in school. In that moment, Jamie saw real change. This was about more than art, it was about unity, about embracing their shared humanity. But just as the showcase reached its peak, Jamie noticed something. There stood a small group of students at the back, hesitant and quiet. They wore worn expressions, shadows in their eyes. It tugged at her heart. "Hey, come join us," she called, waving them over. Slowly, they approached, uncertainty shifting into curiosity as they took in the colorful space. The group shared their stories, worries about fitting in, experiences shaped by doubt. Jamie connected with them, sharing the inspiration that drove her. "You belong here. Creativity has no boundaries. Everyone has a story, even you." The previously hesitant group began to warm up, tentatively smiling, showing glimmers of hope. Watching them, Jamie felt a rush of fulfillment. They were building a community, fostering acceptance, and creating a wave of change that would carry far beyond the showcase. As the final hours of the event unfolded, and the sun set, casting a golden glow throughout the school, Jamie took in the sight of their collected triumph. Laughter echoed through the hall, music drifted from performances on stage, and conversations blossomed everywhere. When it finally came time to recap the day, Jamie stood with her friends and peers on the stage. "This isn't just the end, it's a new beginning," she announced, overwhelming gratitude washing over her. Amid cheers and applause, Jamie glanced at all the faces surrounding her, each a part of this journey that had transformed both her and the community. Hope sparkled in their eyes. "We're not stopping here, we'll continue to fight for what we believe in. Together, we can sustain our momentum. Let's keep this fire alive." The crowd erupted into cheers. In that moment, Jamie realized they had done more than save a summer program. They had sparked a movement of creativity, collaboration, and compassion. As they locked eyes, she felt the unwavering bond with her friends and those who had joined their mission. They were a community, and they were unstoppable. Life was about to change forever at Lincoln High, and Jamie could hardly wait to see where the journey would take them next. And as the last notes of that night echoed through the hall, she thought of the incredible connections formed and felt an urge calling out to her, a call to action that resonated beyond the walls of the school. If you connected with Jamie's spirit today, you need to subscribe now. Don't miss out on more heartwarming stories just like this. Leave a like now to support this mission and keep the good vibes going. And hey, comment below how you feel about Jamie's transformation. We want to hear your thoughts. Share instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this amazing journey unfold. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second.